But for the Tennessee folks, are we ready to play the game Keep 3, Cut 5 as we come into the back end of happy hour here?
Let's do it.
Sure.
All right. Here we go. So this is Keep 3, Cut 5, Tennessee Vols Hoops. Don't worry about building a team or like position. It is just the most beloved, most impactful players at Kentucky basketball. Keep 3, Cut 5. Are you ready?
Wait, what?
Wait, Tennessee.
What'd I say?
You said Kentucky.
You know what I meant.
But is it most beloved or most impactful? Because that could be two different things.
Very much
It's
would
both
be two
of them.
different things.
Both of them.
No, it can't be both.
No. It could absolutely be. It's my game. I can do whatever I want. Stop telling me what I can and cannot do. Key 3, Cut 5. Most loved, impactful players at Tennessee basketball. We don't have to play the game if you don't want to.
I'll allow it.
First player up.
Is there a time frame we're talking here? Or is this all like the history of Tennessee basketball?
2000 to 2025.
Okay, I'm just making sure you didn't change that too.
Yep. I didn't change nothing. First player, Chris Lofton.
Keep.
Okay. Someone else is going to have to keep count of the players. So you're keeping Chris Lofton. That is your first keep.
Yes. That's a no-brainer. No,
Yeah.
Nobody's going to argue that.
Yeah.
I know who he is. All right. Second player. Second player, Grant Williams.
Since 2000, because of the beloved part, it's a cut to me. It's a respectful cut because he and Admiral are obviously part of like not even resurgence, but like the establishment of Tennessee basketball. I don't think he's loved as much as he should be for a 2-time SEC Player of the Year. But since we're talking love and impact and not just impact, I think he's a cut.
Man, this one's tough for me because I sat and watched Grant Williams literally put the entire team on his back with about 8 minutes to go in that dump in the West End that Peabody plays in and carry that team through sheer will to victory.
Dude, him and DJ Washington were so fun to watch battle each other. Those matchups were –
yeah.
Those were
man. But because and T and I, we didn't talk about this before the show. So I had Grant on my top 3. But then Rando goes and changes it up a little bit here. So I'm going to agree. I want to agree with T because he doesn't. I think part of it too is the fact that he wasn't appreciated for what he was in the moment, and then he sort of got a bad rap as being kind of a tough, hard guy to deal with in the NBA. I think that turned some people's taste in his mouth. But at the time, Grant Williams was probably him, and I'm not going to say another name, and Lofton were probably the best 3 players that we've had since this. What are we in millennium? Since 2000.
Yeah,
but I'm with T. I'll agree. I'll cut.
Yeah, he's definitely up there for me. But I think for the Vol fan base as a whole, he's a cut.
I agree. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. He didn't make my top 3. I did have a top 3 as a non-biased guy because of the next guy, Admiral Schofield. You all mentioned before. Admiral Schofield, keep or cut?
I love Admiral, but I think it's a cut.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm the same. It's because he's probably more beloved than Grant, and he was the number 2. Grant was the number 1, and he was the number 2. So you need Admiral's love and Grant's impact for them to make the list. With the Vol Nation as a whole. So I think he's a cut, but I love Admiral too.
I do too. I love Admiral, both those guys. But Grant's a harder cut for me than Admiral is, to be honest.
Yeah, because Grant had the impact.
Yeah. If I'm cutting Grant, there's no question I've got to cut Admiral because Grant was 2-time back-to-back SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And he could do it all.
Okay.
He could play literally 4 positions on the floor.
Now, here we go. Dalton Connect.
He's got to be a keep. I just like, and I'm trying to speak for like Vol Nation, right? Like he's a keep. I don't know if there's like a more beloved individual.
There's not.
An exciting white in East Tennessee, like he's the guy. I mean, and obviously Dalton was special, man. I miss DK. He's a keep.
I hope the next name's Nico.
All
Volleyball
right. Hammer,
players
you agree?
don't count.
You agree? Hammer, keep.
There's 2 more names you're going to say that man, it's hard to argue Dalton Connect, though. Like, everybody loves that guy. I have to yield to T, speaking on behalf of Vol Nation, and agree that that's a keep.
All right. So we've kept Chris Lofton. We kept Dalton Connect. You can keep one more. Next player, Triple J, Josiah Jordan James.
He's a cut.
That was too easy.
It was. So he's beloved, but he didn't have the
impact.
He didn't have the impact. He came in as a 5-star. Everybody was super excited about him. He was a torchbearer. He did all the things that you need from him, but he didn't have the impact. Him and Vescovy together, just they didn't accomplish enough.
Okay. All right. So that was
people don't love him like that. They don't appreciate what he was, but they don't.
Yeah. I had Triple J on my list, but I'm not a Tennessee fan.
I love Triple J, man. He was guarding bigs. He was athletic. Again, just not enough on-court success, really.
Yeah. Okay. Jordan Bone.
Ooh, I knew you were going to put him on there. And I know me and T might disagree on this one. He's a cut for me. And I love Jordan Bone.
Well, you only got one more. So, I mean, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm with you. And again, he was part of the Grant and Admiral squad. We're cutting Grant and Admiral. We gotta cut. We gotta cut Bone too. Though I love Bone, most explosive player we've ever had with the ball in his hand in terms of speed. I mean, he's probably not Fox, but he was close. He wasn't as good as Fox, but in terms of speed, he was close. But yeah, he's a cut.
All right, so we got 2 more players, so we can keep one. Next player, Kennedy Chandler.
He's a cut.
Cut.
All right, so the next one, I think this is a good list. Last player, Zakai Ziegler.
Yeah, it had to be Zakai.
That was my third on my list. That there is absolute no question that Zakai Ziegler has been one of the most beloved basketball players, ever. Bernard King, Ernie Grunfeld, Allen Houston, Ron Slay, who's one of my all-time favorites, and I'm kind of sort of friends with Ron a little bit, and so
Dale Ellis
on the list just for that. But Dale Ellis, you go down the list, man. Zakai Ziegler, no, we have never embraced a player I think like we have him.
Yeah.
I was hoping you were going to already get to your 3 before I got to the last one of Zakai.
No,
I was going to argue to hold out for Zakai. Zakai had to get.
I was just afraid you were going to put your favorite player, Tobias Harris, on the list, and then we were really going to have to make a decision. T.
So here are the honorable mentions. We didn't get there. Honorable mentions: Tobias Harris, Jarnell Stokes, Scotty Hobson, Kevin Punter Jr., Yves Pons.
So to me, the hardest one on that one would have been Scotty.
Yeah.
Scotty
Stokes too, because he's been one of our better big men as of in that time period. But Scotty Hobson.
Jarnell Stokes his journey was kind of funky because he came the second half of a season because he did an early high school graduation or something. Physically he was a beast, but he left too soon to go to the NBA.
Yeah.
He played a year and a half. He really wasn't ready. He had it physically. He needed to develop his skill. Scotty and Tobias both are like two of our 5 highest rated recruits ever. I don't remember if Tobias was McDonald's, but Scotty was. Yves Pons is a cut, but I don't know why he didn't get it embraced as much, because he did very similar to Zakai. Like, he developed freak athlete. And then he went from like only being able to play defense to like a primary scorer by his final year, and still an all lockdown defensive guy. Those are good honorable mentions, though. Definitely good to be on the
He's a French dude, right?
Yeah. Haitian. What was he? French or Haitian?
French.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could jump
he did
out
4 years.
He
did 4 years.
Jump over the backboard. It was crazy.
Yeah, and he was a lefty.
See, I kind of expected you to put Scotty Hobson on the list because him being from Kentucky. So
I know Scotty Hobson. No, and recently, because of how much he has pissed me off, Tobias Harris was not going to make the list. So I'm taking him out. So my list as not being a Tennessee guy, I hate Grant Williams. Hate him to death.
That means
for some reason, I loved Admiral Schofield. Even as a Kentucky guy, maybe it's because of I think both his parents were in the Army or something, like maybe his background or whatever. I really liked Admiral Schofield. Even as a Tennessee guy, I liked him a lot. Josiah Jordan-James, didn't like him because he played, but he was a baller, man. I like watching him play basketball. And then Zakai Ziegler, again, like just the respect that I had for Zakai and a 4-year dude and what he turned into for Tennessee and under Rick Barnes. Those are my 3. Again, I got no true like Tennessee love, so I can't tell you that my 3 is the correct, but that's what I had. Admiral, Triple J, and Zakai were the ones that I had if I had to pick 3 for Tennessee fans.
If the list had been only impact or only belovedness, then it changes. But I was trying to take into consideration both of those factors.
Yeah.
Because if it's impact, like then Grant makes it and all that. But
yeah, and based on what we went through and the fact when we took Grant Williams out of the equation, then that left a very short list of players that T or I would recommend for that. I felt pretty confident in that. So I feel like we got it right, T.
No, yeah, I like that one. That was our first one. I think we did all right on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ultimately a good list. I was gonna do, like T did with like your top 3 or your big 3 or like NBA lineage, and then I just realized that Tennessee basketball didn't have that great of just like it's very limited on what I could choose from. So I had to go with.
No, I mean that's fair. I mean that's the truth.
Yeah, we don't.
Like we can name them on, probably.
You're supposed to get upset when I say things like that. You're supposed to be like.
We're both rational.
There's 2 kinds of people in this world. There's those that can accept facts and truth, and then there's Kentucky fans. Okay.
That's fair. Well,